Dr. Jill Biden has stepped in it. Dr. Jill. Now, I don't really follow sports, as people know, so like I haven't weighed in on this whole dust up with LSU and Iowa and the star players, and they were kind of doing facial whatever signals, rude signals to one another. To me, that's like sports, whatever. I find it hard to get upset about these two women going at it with the facial, whatever, the hand signals. Go for it. You know, we can be bitches too. We can be unsportsmanlike. We can do all the things that the men can. However, I do think it's interesting what's happening between the star from LSU and Dr. Jill. Dr. Jill Biden did something so stupid. She's so stupid. LSU won, and they're supposed to go to the White House like all the winning teams. And instead, she said, yes, that you should come, but also Iowa too. Right. And then people were like, that's because Iowa's white. And then people were like, well, that's because Iowa's Iowa. First in the nation caucuses. You're thinking about 2024. I don't know why she said it, but her team seemed to be saying everyone gets a trophy, right? Like, it's just, that's sportsmanlike to invite the winner and the loser. And then the star player, Angel Reese from LSU, had the following response. She was not happy and said the following in South 13.
I don't accept the apology because of, you said what you
Jill
said.
Biden.
Yeah.
First lady.
The wife, yeah.
You said what you said and you meant what you said.
I said what I said, and like, you can't go back on certain things that you say. I mean, you felt like they should have came because of sportsmanship, right? They can have that spot. Like, we'll go to the Obamas. We'll see, I'm gonna see Michelle. I'm gonna see Barack.
So she says we'll go to the Obamas. Jill Biden, her spokesperson, kind of tried to take it back, like, oh, never mind. Iowa won't come. It'll just be you guys. And even the star of Iowa, Caitlin, help me out.
Clark.
Yeah. I could only get Collins in my head. Clark said, we should not go. The White House trip is for the winners, and we didn't win. So good for her. And so Angel Reese has now revealed that they also rejected seeing Jill Biden come to their locker room before the game. And there was a real question about whether LSU would go to the White House at all. Angel Reese said, we're talking about it. We'll see. You know, we may not go. They were mad. And here's Shannon Sharp, who had a bit of a freak out over the whole thing that is kind of interesting. Listen to him.
That's the part of winning a national championship. We get invited to the White House.
Yep.
The losers don't get anything. This is not a participation award. The number one trending topics. What was, Skip? It wasn't that LSU won. It was Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark.
Yep.
And so she's a doctor. If she didn't know, she should have known. Does Dr. Jill Biden understand how this looks? She, white America?
Yep.
The losing side is white America? Come on, Dr. Biden. You know better than this. Did you forget who helped put your husband in the White House? You're going to find out a very serious, hard lesson in 24. You'll be like a Kentucky or Duke freshman. You'll be one and done. You see how proud of your husband is? Yeah. I tell you what, he'll drop another 5% if he do this.
Oh, boy.
He's
now he's talking
right.
your language.
It's
in electoral politics. Go ahead,
it's
John.
not a participation award. I mean, you work your entire season long hoping that you can win, and what you get is to go to the White House, no matter who the president is. Sometimes there's politics involved, and some people don't want to see Trump. Some people don't want to see Obama. Whatever. You work, you earn it, you get that trophy, you get to go to the White House. And I bet you Jill Biden and her team saw all of the Twitter activity praising Caitlin Clark right around the game. She had a couple of big nights, and she's a great player. But and they thought that, okay, well, we invite Iowa too, and then we'll get the plaudits on Twitter, and everybody's going to be happy.
Well, she just screwed up.
She really did.
Right?
Huge.
I mean, the backdrop to all of this is not totally unimportant, which is Caitlin Clark and this Iowa team had a real special run. She is an incredible player, I might add. But they also had this incredible boon to ratings for the first time in the tournament's history. The women's tournament was routinely getting higher ratings than NBA games, right? Which doesn't normally happen. And in large part, that was because of Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes. They go into this game. I think a lot of players from a lot of teams resent the heck out of the fact that this one player on Iowa is getting all the attention and all, all this mass media attention in the process. And so they sort of made a point of going after her. And after the game, typically when you see everybody celebrating and, enjoying their teammates on a huge accomplishment, the star player at LSU is in the face of Caitlin Clark. And so I bet you that Jill Biden looks at this and she's like, oh, well, let's just have let's just get along type moment, right? You recall like the beer summit.
Here's the beer summit all over again.
But it's basically that kind of like ridiculous thinking.
It's pandering is what it is. Pandering.
But without looking at how that looks to the outside world who had been actually going through this entire emotional process with the players as they were watching, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it could not have been a worse mistake. It was just awful.
I doubt the people advising Dr. Jill Biden had played competitive sports in their life.
No chance.
Because they would understand that this is like pandering of the worst kind. And yeah, I mean, it is like the beer summit. Like they're going to heal America, black athlete, white athlete, and elevate these women's voices at the White House. That's not how it works. Like, do that. If you want to do that during the context of a political campaign.
Right.
But so, I mean, I think it was incredibly cynical. It was a mistake and a very cynical pandering mistake.
But you got to tip the hat to Caitlin Clark because her response to that was exactly right.
Right.
We didn't win. The other winner goes to the White Like her response, that's good sportsmanship. She is a star,
It was just, to me, it was like, she was so, go ahead, Smug. Yeah.
Oh, no, I think that, the problem here is Dr. Jill Biden tried to just call an audible and say that this needs to be done, instead of sticking to the standard playbook of inviting a women's team and Dylan Mulvaney to talk about
Yeah, exactly. Dylan will definitely be there. We don't know whether LSU will show up. Wait, can I tell you though, I thought it was such a fail by Jill Biden because Dr. Jill, I love how Shannon's like, she's a doctor. She should know better.
But
it was such a fail by her, because what we had here was actually a great moment for women. The women's NCAA tournament was dominating male NBA team playoffs and games. And it was, but by a lot, right? Like 10 million viewers, something crazy. So it was, and I personally, I almost kind of liked the fierceness of the women, like with the face thing. And part of me was like, yeah, sick 'em, like back and forth. Like, women can be fiery and they can get pissed off and they can have low moments. It's not like the greatest moment of sportsmanship, but But the point was simply like, I didn't feel offended. I felt like, yeah, I get it. Your heart's in it. You're fierce competitors. And so we turned off that tournament thinking like, yes, freaking you go. Women's sports, this is a great moment. They're not the most popular. So this was a new chapter in their narrative. And then what do you have? You have one of the most visible women in America with like her weak need, like, it's just like the female stereotype of like, there are no winners or losers. We're all getting a participation trophy. Yay! No, we need fierceness at this moment. We need the little hand face. We need a little bit of that Angel Reese sass and the Caitlin Collins, not Collins, whatever her name is. Clark. Clark, like, I rise above it all. Losers don't go. I'll be the winner next year, right? Like, and then you have Jill Biden, like, everyone group hug. It was just popping the balloon. I've never been able to compost before. It always seemed too complicated and too much work and just, hassle. Not anymore, thanks to Lomi, which actually is fun. Lomi allows me to turn my food scraps into dirt with a push of a button. Lomi's a countertop electric composter that turns scraps into dirt in under 4 hours. There's no smell when it runs, and it's super quiet. Thanks to Lomi, I have way less garbage each week. Bonus. Instead, I am turning the family food waste into nutrient-rich dirt that I can then feed to my plants. Now I am composting and creating soil with the best of them. Instead of all that waste, I have a basically limitless supply of dirt from my garden, and you can join me in this endeavor. If you would like to start making a positive environmental impact or just make cleanup after dinner that much easier, Lomi is perfect for you. Go to lomi.com/MK, LOMI.com/MK, and use the promo code MK to get $50 off your Lomi. That's $50 off when you head to LOMI.com/MK and use that promo code MK at checkout. Food waste is gross. Lomi is your solution. Lomi.com/MK. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.